Did you and your lunch table buddies ever argue about whether the red, black, blue, yellow, green, or pink was the best ranger?
Did you ever shout, "It's morphin' time," before you fought some pretend putties in your living room?
If you ever wish that you had your very own morpher, you might be a Xennial, albeit a younger one. Or you may at least have an affinity for Xennial culture, like our very special guest we have today.
Yes, welcome everyone to Generation in Between, a Xennial podcast where we remember, revisit, relearn all kinds of things from our 80s childhoods and 90s teen and young adulthoods. And if you didn't figure it out already, today we are going to be talking Mighty Morphin, Power Rangers. Just want to make sure I said them all correctly and in the right order so you don't come for me. With our friend, superfan Carlos.
Yay! Yay!
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, Carlos. So before we get into all things Power Rangers, which Katie and I don't know as much as you. I probably know the least in this room. I have a feeling. But anyway, we want you to please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you, why you're here, if you're a Xennial, just all the things.
Okay. So I am Carlos Jimenez Jr. I am not a Xennial.
I know.
Unfortunately. I'm sorry. I was born in 89, which is way off, I think.
Straight up millennial.
Yeah. Like
okay.
at the beginning. But, you know, I love the Xennial things because I grew up with Xennials in the household. My uncle and aunt were Xennials. So, you know, being
So we're
with
like
them,
your fun aunties?
Basically, you're like my fun aunties. The reason I am here is because I am not only a super fan of Power Rangers, but I am a super fan of Generation in Between. I have been binging you guys for a while now, and I have become the annoying super fan because I
we
know
love
you
it.
guys.
We love it so much.
And I'm like texting you guys, oh, so this one is this and that one is that. So, you know, I have gotten a couple of shout outs because of the
A lot.
circle back.
You've heard us because Carlos corrects. So we need that because you have like a rock solid memory. You also are younger than us, so your brain cells have not deteriorated as much.
Well, my fiance says that I have a brain of an elephant. So
You totally do.
like, and even my mom, dad, everybody that knows me, they're like, how do you remember that from back then?
know.
And I'm like, well, it stuck with me.
Well,
so
we appreciate it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
You are now our research consultant.
Carlos will be the first one we add to the payroll when we, you know, even start paying ourselves. We'll be like, we need a research or fact checker. That's what we need. A fact checker.
I could do that.
Yeah.
We have no money to give you.
That's fine. I'll do it for free. I do it for free now.
I know, true.
I'm okay with that.
True fact.
Basically, just keep doing what you've been doing.
Awesome.
And
We'll
be
do.
all set.
We'll
be
do.
all set.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
So, Katie, let's tell everybody how we actually know Carlos in real life.
Okay.
So you go
Great.
first.
So I met Carlos, I guess, about a year and a half ago when I did a Vita at the Henniger.
Yes.
Carlos was the tango singer Magoldi. And so we met in that show. I was in the ensemble. And we actually have a really great picture of us from that show
Yes.
in the cafe scene when he's singing his song. And I'm just like so excited. I've got this huge smile. And it really is kind of like how I really feel about Carlos.
Right?
But a professional picture.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, you probably don't, because why would you care? But the dress I wore in that scene was amazing. It was like the best costume I've ever worn. So it was like a really good memory for me.
Yeah.
In addition to Carlos being there. So, and then we've done like lots of stuff together since then. And right now we're working together with the middle schoolers and teens at the Henniger on High School Musical.
Ooh, ooh.
I'm the music director and Carlos is the choreographer. And I got to see we're all in this together.
Yes.
On stage yesterday.
Yes.
And I was like almost crying because it was so iconic. It looked amazing. And the kids just like were killing it.
Oh, they were killing it.
It was so good.
I had 2 days to clean it. I finished the choreography in 3 days, teaching it to them. And then we cleaned it the past 2 days.
Wow.
And they have been super focused and just killing it. So I can't wait for you to see it.
I know. I can't wait to see it either. And listen, props to y'all because y'all work with children. And middle school children are their own category. Yeah. So applause.
Yes. Well, what about you, Danny? How do you and Carlos know each other?
So I knew of Carlos before I actually met him in person because I watched him perform at the Henniger. So what we haven't said yet is we have in other episodes is that Carlos is an amazing performer. Yes. He is what we call a triple threat. So,
and we hate him.
I mean, with love.
We hate him with love for it.
We love him so much that we hate him.
So for those of you who do not perform, a triple threat is somebody who can sing, dance, and act.
Yep.
Katie and I do one of those three things well, sometimes.
Most of the time. We try.
Somebody asked me during one show, they were like, "Oh, so are you a singer or a dancer first?" And I said, "I'm an actor first." And Carlos is giggling because he's performing me, and he's like, "Yes."
No.
Anyway, so I watched Carlos in Evita. I watched Carlos in Avenue Q.
Oh my God.
Iconic. And one of the most important things, and I won't tell the whole story because then we'll all three cry, was seeing him play Sebastian in Little Mermaid, which is pivotal in our life because that was the first show that my youngest saw where he turned to me and said, "I think I would like to try this theater thing." Mm-hmm. Yay! And that changed his life. His life has totally changed since that moment. And the coolest thing is that he said to me, "I want to be able to be in a show with all these people that I saw in this musical that made a difference." And so far, he's done almost all of it. He was in a show with Carlos, Justin, Scotty, Sasha, Ryan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, just go down the list.
Yes.
All of them.
And all the ensemble peeps.
I say he's in a show with Austin right now.
Right.
Flounder.
So it's really neat. Yeah. So that's just really cool. And then I knew of Carlos. And then just recently I got to be in a show with Carlos. We were in Diana, the musical, and we had so much fun together.
Oh, it was
I think
blast.
maybe we should save the one story from Diana for our after show.
I don't know. What one story?
The one story.
The main event.
Oh. Yes.
I gave Danny a look like, you know the story.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
we'll save that one.
We had a number where we were next to each other for the whole thing, and we absolutely despised. We love you, Kara. We love you so much, Kara, our choreographer. But man, that number was a pain in our butt. I actually, at the end of the show, our last one,
we killed it.
We killed it. And I was like, okay, I'm actually going to miss this number.
Isn't that funny when it happens like right at the end?
Right at the end.
And you're like, oh, okay, so now I like this.
Right. That's totally what happened to us.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so now we have spent half the show discussing nothing to do with the topic that we introed. So if you're still around and you're like, please start talking about Power Rangers, we have arrived.
We can do that. I think we can do it.
Yeah.
Let's get going.
Carlos, take us away.
Okay.
We're ready. And so our first question, we gave Carlos just some basic questions, and he has the most organized, cute research I've ever seen. It is color-coded. It is neatly handwritten, above and beyond what Katie and I do.
Well, you guys gave me Power Rangers, so I color-coded with the Power Ranger colors.
All right. So we're going to let you, he's taking the lead on this.
Yeah.
So
we'll have lots of questions, I'm sure.
Yeah. So we're ready for you to kind of just share with us just like the basic history, origins of the show, when it was created, seasons, all of that. We're ready.
Sure.
Bring us in.
All right. So it all started when Chaim Saban, who is basically like the creator of the English version of Power Rangers, or the American version of Power Rangers, went on a trip to Japan, was in his hotel room, turned on the TV and saw Super Sentai. Super Sentai is what they called it in Japan.
Okay.
And so he said this would be a great show to bring to America. So what he did was he basically had a conversation with whoever was in charge of Super Sentai, said, hey, can we use some of your footage? I don't know if he paid them for it or not. I'm sure that they got a little something. But basically, he took that Japanese footage of when they morphed and were fighting and all that stuff to America and hired American actors. I shouldn't say American actors. Some of them might have been from other places, but hired actors to play the unmorphed scenes, and they had to base their they had to base their episodes off of the Japanese footage that was already done. So the writers, I would say, are super creative to have to watch a Japanese version of a show.
Yeah.
And then create like a whole Americanized version of it.
So they didn't refilm all of it. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. They did not refilm all of it.
Okay.
So, and that's a whole other thing too with actors and
right.
Yeah, I'll get into that too.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, they didn't film all of it. They only filmed the American side of it, use the Japanese footage when they're morphed and fighting, and then while they're fighting in the morphed stuff, the actors were dubbed. So they went into a studio, they recorded their voices to then tie the story all together.
Got it.
Okay.
Yes. So it didn't go from like American to like now they speak Japanese, which would have been hilarious. No, they went into a studio, they dubbed their voices. So that was how it came to America.
Okay. That's cool. So it was a Japanese show first.
It was a Japanese show first.
And some of that Japanese footage, or a lot of it, remains for when they are morphed.
Correct.
Okay.
Is that just in the first season?
That's in all the seasons
All of them.
up until recently.
Okay.
Up until recently.
They're still making Power Rangers?
I think they're on their last.
Okay, I'm jumping way too far.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think they're on their last, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Power Rangers will never die. I'm gonna say that now. It will never die. So even if they say that this is their last, something's gonna happen.
It's like Cher.
Yes. Yes. With I don't know how many comebacks, but they're coming back if they ever end.
Got it.
Yes. So the original Super Sentai in Japan had been going on for years before he even discovered them. So I would say that they were probably going on in like the 70s. And then all the way up until the 90s where he discovered them. And they made their debut in America August 28th, 1993.
Okay. So you were how old, Carlos?
I was 4.
Jesus Christ.
I had just turned
Why did
4.
I ask that question?
Why?
How old were you, Katie, in 1993?
So I would have been 11.
I was 13.
Yeah. I mean, that checks. I remember I started seeing it like middle schoolish, which would have been after that. And my younger brother, who's 5 years younger than me, so a little older than you, he was about 6 or 7. By the time he was like 8 or 9 or 10, he was really
totally into it.
Yeah. And that's like when I remember it.
And I know about Power Rangers because I remember it was like either on the TV as I was getting ready for school or after school, something like that. And I even had middle school friends who were super into it, but it wasn't my jam. But I know about it. And I did go see the movie, which I don't know why I did that, but maybe I went with a boy. I don't know. It actually was pretty good. I can't lie.
It.
Anyway, sorry. I just wanted to get age reference there.
Yeah, like what's
4.
happening in 93 for all of us.
So that's when it came out. Okay.
That's when it came out. I was very much into it at the very beginning. Sure. Okay, for those of you who don't know me, I am gay. So anything with multicolors is literally my jam. I love anything. Costumes and helmets and pretty pink rangers. And
check our socials. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We'll get there. We're going to talk about that too.
Yes. So, so all the fight scenes were done. Morphed were done in Japan.
Okay.
Now, the actors that were picked had to audition. And not only did they have to have some sort of acting skills, not really a lot, but...
Right. I remember some of that acting.
Yes. So, but they had to have some sort of martial arts skills or some sort of gymnastic skills.
Oh.
Because of all the flips and tricks and everything that they threw into the show.
So they did their own stunts?
They did their own stunts.
Impressive.
Yes. They did their own stunts. So, and again, get into all that here soon. But it started off with 5 actors who got cast. And so the characters are going to be Zach the Black Ranger was played by Walter Emmanuel Jones. Kimberly the Pink Ranger was played by Amy Jo Johnson.
Yes.
Billy the Blue Ranger was played by David Yost. Trini, the Yellow Ranger, who was originally played by Audrey Dubois, could not or did not want to do the show because of money issues.
Oh.
And I'm assuming that she was probably an actress and knew like all the stuff. So she was like, not for me. They had already shot the pilot episode with her in it and had to redo it again with Tui Trang, who was a Japanese martial artist, also an actress in, I'm going to say China, maybe Japan. I didn't get her backstory, but she was an actress back then. Sorry.
Somebody's got to correct the corrector.
Sorry, Twee. I love you.
I can't wait to send you a text later.
I know. But she was already in acting and then wanted to bring it to the States. Then Jason, the Red Ranger, was played by Austin St. John. Those were the original 5. Okay. Later on in the season, they wanted to spice things up. So they added an evil Green Ranger, Tommy, who was played by Jason David Frank. Okay. So
I remember the Green Ranger. Why do I remember him? Was he cute?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's why.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, Googling right now as you're speaking.
And he's also one that aged well.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
We talk about that probably too much. I'd say that's
Shout out James Vanderbeek.
I'd say that's about 75% of our conversations lately. Looking up pictures of Rob Lowe and Scott Foley. And
men who aged very well.
Oh, wow. This is taking a turn. All right, Green Ranger in the Google.
Green Ranger, go on.
Yes.
Keep going. Keep going.
So the evil Green Ranger came in. It was supposed to be a 5-part episode or 5 episodes to tie in the whole story.
Like an arc or something.
Basically.
Yeah, okay.
And then he was supposed to be gone. Like the Green Ranger was supposed to be yeah, that's him.
I remember him now.
Yeah.
He had long hair.
Oh, yes, he did.
Sorry.
Yes.
And so it was supposed to be a 5-episode arc story. And then he was supposed to be gone.
Oh.
Well, when he left, the fans went crazy and was like, this cannot be the end of Tommy. He cannot go anywhere. We need him back. So after all that fan mail, they brought
they
back.
listened to the fans.
They listened to the fans.
Love it.
Smart.
They listened to the fans.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said he was evil.
Yes.
So he did not work with the other Power Rangers?
Not at the beginning.
Oh, and then he has a change of heart or something?
Correct. So they basically, what happens in the episode is, well, the last one, they find the source of the evil, destroy it, and then the spell's broken.
Oh, I love that.
So when he came back, when the fans asked for him back, he was no longer evil.
He was no longer, he was no longer evil
before that.
Okay. Right.
So when they brought him back, he was just joining the team.
Got it.
Yeah.
Aw, I love it.
Yes.
Are you going to talk about the villains at some point?
Of course.
Okay.
Of
I'm
course
going to save my question. I'll save my question.
Of course I am. So now the way that the Power Rangers would morph is they would have a morpher. Now the morpher was given to them by Zordon, who is this intergalactic being who was in a tube and could not survive outside of this tube. I know. It's I couldn't describe it any other way. But yes. So he was basically the mentor of the Power Rangers.
Okay.
He chose them to be these protectors. That's him. That's Zordon.
Very Wizard of Oz like to
Yes,
me.
very.
Literally like a regular human face in a tube.
In a tube.
Okay.
Also very synergy like.
Yes. You know what he looks like? Glenn Bell in a tube. Inventor of Taco Bell.
All the Power Ranger fans are very angry at us right now. So we're going to just stop.
But I'm not wrong.
He did also have a robotic helper named Alpha 5 who basically hit all the buttons.
Oh.
So if they needed something, he was there to help Zordon and all that stuff.
He's like Batman's Alfred.
Yeah.
Basically.
Alpha 5.
Yes.
Cool.
So the way that the Power Rangers would morph is they would hold up their morphers and shout out the names of their Dinozords.
Wait.
Now,
tell me what their
Dinozords.
All right.
Dinozords are Megazords that basically form together to create this giant being that fights. So what happens is the villains would somehow grow into these enormous beings, and obviously the Power Rangers could not grow to fight them, so they call upon these Zords.
Okay.
And then they form the giant Megazord.
So they form a giant thing together. Okay. Now
So some of them is separate.
Megazord.
So they start off separate, and then they form the mighty
together.
Megazord. Correct.
You called it a dinosaur. Are they dinosaurs?
They are.
Okay.
So
Like, I know nothing.
yeah.
Literally know nothing.
I'm just listening.
So
I don't even know.
they called their dinosaurs.
Okay.
So Zach, being the Black Ranger, was the Mastodon.
Okay.
And this is not all dinosaurs. It's all prehistoric era.
Oh, okay.
So
Got it.
So Zach the Black Ranger was the Mastodon. Kimberly the Pink Ranger was the Pterodactyl.
Yes.
I love
Billy
that.
the Blue Ranger was the Triceratops.
Yes.
Trini the Yellow Ranger had the saber-toothed tiger.
Ooh.
I know.
Yes.
And then Jason, being the Red Ranger, leader of the group, obviously the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Oh, okay.
So then they all, like I said, they had individual Zords.
Okay.
But in order to, it's basically a teamwork thing. The whole
got
basis of it is working together
Okay.
as a team. So when they work together as a team, then they form the Mighty Megazord.
Okay, I see. So
Yes.
I see a picture of a toy here, and they
Yes.
all come together.
Exactly.
Okay, I get it.
And it's the different colors.
And it's the different colors. Right.
Got it.
Now, the only thing that they didn't do, which I was a little upset about as a kid, and I noticed it as a kid, was that the pterodactyl was not pink. She was red.
Why?
I know.
So she didn't
Hello?
stay pink?
No, the Pink Ranger stayed pink. But the Dinozord,
Oh, I see.
yeah, like everyone had their own color, but hers was red.
So you had two red ones?
Yeah.
Lame.
No.
That's a big fault right there.
And I don't know.
And, like,
I don't know
how
why
hard
they did it.
is
Maybe
it?
it was because of where it sat on the Megazord. They needed to match the Red Ranger. I don't know.
Lame.
But I was mad.
And all of that, just to keep this straight in my own brain, that footage,
Right.
the Megazord, was American stuff that they was created in America.
That was Japanese footage.
That was Japanese footage.
All of it was Japanese. Anything
all of
morphed, anything to have to do with
Yeah, sorry.
Megazords
Okay,
was
got it.
yes.
I was thinking when they were the Rangers and like fighting as people, that was Japanese footage, which it was. But on top of it,
on top of it, the Megazord was.
thank you.
Yeah, the only time that it was American footage was when they were unmorphed.
Like regular scenes, normal. people.
Correct.
Got it.
So you see Amy Jo's face, not in the Pink Ranger outfit. It's her actual face and everything. That was obviously
All
her.
done here. Yeah.
All done.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
So that was the giant Megazords. Now I'm going to give you the origin story of the first episode.
Okay. Yay.
Yay.
That
I love
way
me
we
a
all
word.
know how it all started
Okay.
here in America. So two astronauts decide to go to the moon and they find a moon dumpster. They called it a dumpster. It does not look like a dumpster.
Like a dumpster on the moon?
It looks like this little canister, but they called it a dumpster.
Okay,
all
right.
I don't understand
Moon
it.
trash can dumpster. Got it?
For real.
On it.
And in that dumpster were the villains. The main villain being Rita Repulsa.
I was waiting. I remember her. I remember her.
Do we love Rita? We are a Rita stan.
Rita
We
Repulsa.
love
That's amazing.
Rita Repulsa.
So she was in a trash can on the moon.
She was in a trash can. on the moon.
Amazing already. Why have I not watched the show more? I don't know.
This is completely up Danny's alley, but
Katie's like, and I'll pass still.
were there snorks in the trash can?
There were not snorks, so you have nothing to worry about.
That's right. The snorks were under the sea.
They were
Not in a
not
moon
on the moon.
trash.
Yeah.
Silly me.
All right. So Rita in the trash.
Comes out. She's been released after 1,000 years.
Whoa.
10,000 years. I'm sorry.
Ooh, child, you better get it right.
Hold on.
Katie's going to text you later.
After 10,000 years, I'm free. It's time to conquer Earth. 10,000.
Okay.
I had to replay the
the
theme
scene.
song in my
So
head.
she's been in this trash can for 10,000 years.
10,000 years.
So she's pissed.
Yes. So she's very upset. And so now the alarms go off. Alarms go off. Zordon is now, oh no, what's going on? And Alpha says it's Rita. She's been released. So now Zordon has to call upon 5 teenagers with attitude.
Okay.
All right. 5 teenagers with attitude.
Because they will save the world
Yes.
all the time.
you know. So then it goes into the scene of the teenagers in a youth center. Have you guys ever had a youth center?
Yeah.
Is that like
a YMCA, right?
Ish. Yeah. Like they had weights and things,
Yeah.
but they also had like just one balance beam
Yeah,
for Kimberly to show off her skills, you know.
lone balance
It's like a lone balance beam.
And do all your trading here. with
Right.
this.
So they had a youth center. They were all in there doing their thing, you know. Some of
Together?
them, yeah.
Okay.
Well, some of them were like paired off,
Okay.
you know, like Zach and Jason were the martial artists. So they were
Got it.
practicing. Kimberly was doing her thing on
Her
the
beam,
balance
okay.
beam. Trini was doing her little whoosah thing, you know, martial arts
Okay.
thing. And, you know, so it goes into that scene. Then all of a sudden, there's an earthquake. It's Rita. She has finally made it to Earth or near Earth. And then Zordon just beams them to their command center.
Okay.
Okay.
This is wild.
Yeah. They call it teleporting. They
I love
teleport to their command center. Then Zordon explains to them why they're there.
Mm-hmm.
They don't believe it. Obviously, they're teenagers and they're like, yeah, whatever, you know. So he gives them all of their stuff. Like, this is who you are. This is the Zord you're going to be commanding. When you need them, call upon the power, and yada, yada, yada. So they don't believe him. They walk away and leave the command center. Well, you know, after all that's happening, they're still talking like, well, he could have at least teleported us back into town. So now they have to walk all the way back. And Rita sees them and then sends out her putty patrol.
I love the name of this.
Yes. The putty patrol. They are literally made of clay. They're made of putty.
Shush. Okay, now Google again.
I know. I just Googled Rita
Yes.
Repulsa because I couldn't remember what she looked
Oh,
like.
I do.
Oh,
But now I
she's
see her.
iconic.
I know. I do
She
remember
kind
her.
of, the one picture I'm looking at, and I know it's not her, but like she kind of is giving Kristen Chenoweth in Descendants.
Yeah.
yeah. I see it.
Yes.
Just
that one picture.
Yeah.
I see it. Okay, so they're made of clay. All right.
Yeah, so they're made of clay or putty, and they're made into this machine that turns them into animate objects. They are now sent to Earth to fight these Rangers and destroy them before things get completely out of hand for Rita.
Okay.
Because she's trying to conquer Earth.
Okay.
Yes. So they fight the Rangers. The Rangers don't win. And so now they're like, well, Zordon gave us these powers to use. Let's use them. And then they have their first morph in the first episode. Yep.
So cool.
Very, very first morph. Then they go into town where Goldar, who is Rita's henchman, is now waiting for them to battle.
Because are you even an evil person if you don't have a henchman?
Right.
I mean,
or several.
Or a
several.
putty patrol.
Or a putty
or
patrol.
weird stormtroopers made of clay.
Right. So then Goldar is there waiting to fight them. They fight. Then Rita takes her magic wand,
Yes.
throws it down to Earth, and that's how she makes them grow. And she uses the line, "Magic wand, make my monster grow."
I was hoping you would do voices.
I can't do the voice like Barbara Goodson, who is the voice of Rita
Okay.
Repulsa.
Gotcha.
I cannot do her voice very well, but I did attempt.
I think that was pretty damn good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So obviously the Rangers triumph. They win. They go back to the command center. Then everything is all hunky dory, and then you get the Power Rangers
All
from
right, there you go.
Okay, so basically after that happens, when they go back to the command center, are they now like a different vibe? Because they left like, oh, this is weird, blah,
Correct.
blah, blah. But now are they like, yes, we
like,
shall.
Yeah, crazy stuff's going down now. So guess we better do this.
Right. Yes, exactly. Well, some of them were kind of like, well, we were chosen, so we should do it.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
But after they did win and everything had happened, they were like, you know what? We can do this.
I love it.
And we shall.
And we shall.
shall.
For
Yeah.
a very, very, very long time.
But of course, to throw a little 90s wrench in it.
Yeah.
At the very end, and I love this scene because it's Kimberly. And she goes, so everyone's like, yeah, we can do this. We can do this. And Kimberly's like, I don't know, you guys. My hair gets all tangled up in the helmets. I can't do this. And they go, no, come on. And she goes, not.
Yeah.
I had to throw that in there. I love that little part. I was like, oh my God. When you guys see it, you'll see how cheesy it is.
I remember it being so cheesy, which also I love.
Yes.
I also love campy, and it's very
I was like,
campy.
It's very campy.
And it's sort of like at that point, with all these things you just described and other things, like you can't not acknowledge the cheese.
Right.
You can't try to make it not cheesy. You just have to be like, yes, this is what it is.
This is what it is.
Do you like it? Great.
Right.
Right.
But as a kid,
do you not?
Right. Well, as a kid, as a 4-year-old,
Yeah, I
you're
was about to say, tell us about your origins of. So, do you have more history for us before I bust in and ask you this question?
No.
Okay.
Well, the only one thing that I had was the Tommy, when he became good.
Yeah.
He had his own Megazord. Okay. It was called the Dragon Zord.
Because they had to film something new because they weren't planning on him sticking around.
I think so.
Oh, you're so smart.
Well, here's what I think happened. I think that they had taken the origin story of the Green Ranger in a different direction.
Okay.
Like, I think that what was going to happen is they weren't going to use the Green Ranger footage because I don't think that they had imagined that Power Rangers was going to explode the way that it did. So I don't know if they had thought, well, we're just going to do this season, see how it goes. We'll take the Green Ranger out. We won't use the Green Ranger footage and be done with it. Well, when the fans went crazy and they saw how big it was getting, then they were like, no, we need to bring him back. Now we need that Green Ranger footage. We need to do all that stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I think that's when they started to like actually take all that other
some of it.
Right. And they're like, now we need to edit all this and include him.
And what season was that?
It's still all in the first season.
Oh, all that?
Nice.
All of that was still done in the first season.
Wow.
Yeah. They were going to take him out.
Okay.
It aired. And well, all of that happened in the first season, but he came back opening of season 2.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Got it.
So he was in the... So, okay. So tell us when you personally started watching the show. Did you watch it at 4? Like you watched it when it came out?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So tell us what some memories you have. I already know one, which is why he's giggling.
Oh,
and
no, I can't wait.
You are going to tell that story, right? Okay. I'm so excited.
I can't wait.
So tell us some memories you have with being a young fan. What made you love the show? Let us know.
Yeah. So,
Baby Carlos.
Yes, baby Carlos. So again, I've always been infatuated with anything colorful.
Yeah.
Anything. Like it could have been a show about horses with dyed hair. My Little Pony.
I was going to say, there is one.
My Little Pony. Anything. The Snorks I love because they were multicolored.
Boom, another Snork
Care Bears I love because they were multicolored. Yes, like all those multicolored things I've always been, in fact, any teams, X-Men, anything like that.
Yeah.
So when I saw the Power Rangers, and I remember this distinctly, my grandma had turned on the TV and already it was well into the episode because the first thing I saw was them morphed.
Ah.
And I was like, oh, I love this. So, I just started watching it and putting it on and, singing the theme song and all that stuff. Well, the memory that I told Danny was picture little 4-year-old Carlos wanting to be the best Power Ranger he could. And in Power Rangers, they love to do these front flips right after they morph.
Yes.
So I'm in my living room with my grandma. She's on the couch. She's just, relaxing or whatever. And I'm watching Power Rangers. They start doing their flips. Well, little Carlos decides that he wants to do his Power Ranger flip. Lands straight on his back. Oof. And my grandma is trying really hard to hold back the laughter, but you can see the shoulders moving with the giggles. And then she's trying to ask me if I'm okay, but she cannot get the words out. So that's...
Oh my God.
Little
never did that again because that hurt.
Because I'm thinking of your grandma because my kids, they're those kids where I'm like, don't do that. You're going to hurt yourself. Then I'm like, you know what? Fine. Do it. See, told you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like one of those parents that's like, oh, and Cooper will tell you, like, oh, you okay? I will. But like, I'm like, okay, well, you hurt your back. I told you not to do that.
Yeah.
See?
Yes.
So that was
So your poor grandma.
That was her.
Poor grandma.
Yeah.
Aw, that is so awesome.
Grandma was a young grandma. I mean, she was at this point. She was in her mid 40s.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So
She was a hip grandma.
grandma was a
Our ages.
Ooh, Lord.
Can you imagine having a 4-year-old Carlos at the same?
as a grandparent.
No.
Well, you guys had your kids
Later. Yeah.
later.
Like we were
Yeah.
I was 25.
teenagers. Yeah.
My
that's
mom
25,
my mom was
24,
20
25.
turning 21
Yeah.
Yeah.
when she had me. And my
Yeah.
grandma had her at 18.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
So even when you just shave off, it's crazy. Like if you
I
just
know.
shave off a couple years,
Yeah. I mean, it's
and then
huge.
generationally that
Yeah.
happens.
Yep.
Eventually, it's like a much bigger gap, even though it doesn't feel like 21's that different than 25. But when
Right.
it happens,
Yeah. Well, also, I feel like times change. Like, I feel
too.
like people
That too.
have kids later, and
we're
now-
Hispanic, so they have kids.
we be having kids. That's it. Period.
All right. Well, you said it. We did
I mean,
not say that.
look, if I was a straight man, I'd probably have 7.
Yes.
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Oh,
I'm in my mid 30s now, so yeah, I'd probably have 7.
well, it's never too late.
No.
You may not make it to 7 at this point, but never too late.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I did want to circle back to the Dragon Zord though, because there
Oh,
was
yeah,
a
let's
little
go.
fun fact. So, you know how in Japan they had Godzilla
Oh, yeah.
and how they were scared of Godzilla? Well, they turned him into a hero.
Oh.
So the Dragon Zord was modeled after Godzilla.
Oh. But now he's a good Godzilla.
But now he's a good
and not a
Godzilla.
scary Godzilla.
I
Correct.
like that.
Okay.
So yeah,
Flip
they
in
made
the
him.
Script.
Yeah, they made him into a good guy. So now, do I get into the actors
Yes.
side of it?
Oh, yes.
And the drama
I don't know. You're leading
and
this.
I'm
kaflama.
ready.
So
I'm
we
ready.
are following your lead. 'Cause
Okay.
We know zero.
So these actors were non-union actors.
Oh.
Okay. I figured that would happen.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Children and yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
well, were they children?
They were not. They were actually.
They were grown.
actually adults. You
Yeah,
know,
young
Playing
adults.
teenagers.
young adults. Yeah, yeah. Like any show in the
Every
80s
show, yeah.
and 90s
Yeah.
that you see, and
I
I'm
know.
like, are you?
Like Luke
You're
Perry.
14? I don't believe you to be 14.
Right.
So true.
So they were young adults.
Okay.
They were non-union actors. The pay wasn't great.
Mm.
The pay was not great for the amount of hours, time, and stunts
Yeah, I was
that they
gonna
had
say.
to perform. So it wasn't great.
Ooh.
And that's why when the contracts were supposed to renew, some of them left, new actors came in, and that's why you're not used to seeing like Jason, Zach, and Trini did not make it into the movie because they had left before that
Oh, got it.
movie deal had happened.
Gotcha.
So then you got the 3 new people and all that stuff. So
So instead of fixing the work ethic there, they just said, we'll just hire some more people.
correct.
Yeah.
That's
That's what
sucky
they did.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
That's bad.
So it's not all good things behind the scenes. The show itself was great,
Yeah.
but behind the scenes it wasn't all that great.
Right.
Yeah.
So they kept going with the seasons and the same actors that would stay, that were willing to stay and do all that stuff. Well, after a certain amount of time, I would say after season 5, 6, no 5. I was right, 5 or 6. That's when Hayam decided that he was going to do what the Japanese version did, and every season after that was going to have a whole new story, all new actors,
Okay.
all new origin story for how these new Rangers are now coming into their new powers.
Got it. So it's like not a generation. Katie, what's the word I'm trying to think of?
Read her mind.
You
She usually can.
usually can. I know what you're saying. Yeah. Well, like you said about the origin story, but it's like I can't think of it.
See, we don't
I'll
know.
think of it.
Wow.
But essentially, by doing that, it gives you all new characters each season.
Correct.
But I would guess, and maybe you can tell us, do they still kind of fit these sort of tropes, these sort of stereotypes, like the Kimberly and the like whatever? Or did they kind of vary what kind of backgrounds and skills they had?
Yeah, so each character did have their own story. Some of them did circle back to the pretty blonde or the, the prettiest one is the Pink Ranger or whatever the case may be. Sometimes they flipped it. In one of my favorite seasons, which was in space, I always thought that the Yellow Ranger was super pretty.
Okay.
And the Pink Ranger, she was, don't get me wrong, she was pretty too. Like she was this cute little Asian girl. And I loved her too. And I loved her character. But if you were going to go with like the acrylic nails, the hair done, the makeup, it was the Yellow Ranger at that during that season.
And that's the one in space. And that's your favorite season.
That's my favorite season.
Okay.
Yes. The storyline in that one like goes beyond what most children can comprehend. And I think that they did that on purpose because at this point you have now grown up into a little bit more mature because In Space was 97.
Okay.
So I was like 8.
Okay.
So it's not from 4 to 8. It's not that big of, I know, but they decided to take it into a little bit more mature and create this story of this ranger, Lone Ranger, funny, Lone Ranger looking for his sister who was kidnapped when they were kids.
Okay.
Yeah. And so now the team is now joining him in this search. And later they find out that she's been under their noses the entire time because she was the villain.
Oh.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. I'm sorry, but if you haven't seen it by now,
Spoiler alert from 1997.
From 1997.
I mean, I see what you're saying though, because it was a way to kind of hold on to the fans.
Right.
Like
As a
grow.
group. Yeah.
And then obviously you're going to get new fans into the other things. And I suppose there were probably reruns and stuff of the earlier seasons that the younger fans could get into. But that would be a way to kind of grow with your fan base.
Correct. And actually the seasons following Mighty Morphin were not doing so well.
Oh, really?
Space kind of saved it.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yep. Space.
And that was what number season?
That was season 6.
6. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mighty Morphin had 3 seasons.
Okay.
Then it jumped into Zeo.
Okay.
Then Turbo. Yes. Turbo and then Space.
Okay.
6.
Okay.
So they're not called Mighty Morphin the whole time?
They're not called Mighty Morphin the whole time.
I didn't know that either.
Oh, I didn't know.
I
that.
know.
So my intro was real wacky.
No, we're focused on Mighty Morphin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's the
This
era.
is the main focus is Mighty Morphin.
I was like, ooh, I tried.
No, but the originals
The OGs.
is
The
always
OGs.
gonna, the OGs is MMPR.
Okay.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
And that was the 90s. So
And that was
the early 90s.
early
sense.
90s.
So you told us about your favorite season. So we need to know, we know the answer to this.
Yes.
We need to know about your favorite Power Ranger of all of them and why that's your favorite.
Yeah. I am a Pink Ranger fan.
Woo!
I love the Pink Ranger. I have always loved the Pink Ranger. I did grow up in a family where you have the macho dad and he's like, well, you're not supposed to like the Pink Ranger. But you know, it's whatever.
Yeah.
You know, behind dad's back, I still love the Pink Ranger. Sorry, Dad. Love you.
Can't squash
I
it.
mean, you know this now.
Right.
But back then, I still love the Pink Ranger, even though I told you that I love the red.
Aww. Sorry you had to do that.
It's okay. It's okay. Times were different back then. Dad and I are good now.
Okay.
That's what matters.
Yes.
All right, Dad, we'll let it go, I guess. I might still side-eye you if I meet you in real life. It's fine.
But a funny story about that, too, is that I have... So on that side of my family, I have 7 other brothers.
You do?
7 other brothers on that side of my family.
So 7 in
Lord.
So 7 and me. So we're 8
Wow.
total.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll show you guys a picture later
8
of all of
boys?
us. 8 boys.
Listen, I have a house with 3 males, 4, including my cat, and I think I would have to just take a break from that.
Well, and that's why
That's
whenever
so
we had
many.
any pets, we had to get females.
I mean, that's your poor mother. That is so much.
That is so much.
That is so much.
8 boys.
Wow.
So,
Bless her.
and out of 8 boys, 2 of us came out gay.
Oh. But I love that. I love it.
So
I wonder, like, percentage-wise, like, what that looks like nowadays anyway. Like, in a family.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
what percentage of siblings
are
do
gay.
end up,
Yeah.
you know, gay
My
or
sister's gay,
queer.
and there's
well,
two
that's
of
what I'm
us.
saying. Like,
So maybe 50%.
maybe.
Maybe.
In your case, it was, what, 20% or something like that? Or 25%? Something like that.
But I
Something like
think,
that, yeah.
I mean, true. Also, too, like, can we just not have the labels and like just
True,
let people
true.
like I feel like we're getting close to there where we can just like let people just be.
Right.
My sister and I have conversations about this all the time about just labeling gender and sexuality, like because I think most people, whether they want to admit it or not, live in the gray. Like most people are in the gray.
Oh, yeah.
You just society tells you to pick one way or the other, but I think most peeps in both those categories. Do y'all not agree with me?
Oh,
like,
yeah, for sure.
Like totes live in the gray.
For sure. And I don't like the fact that you have to come out.
I know.
Right.
Like
Yes.
straight people don't have to come out.
I didn't have to sit my parents down and be like, I got to tell you something. I really like boys.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping we get to that point where it's like,
yeah, I agree.
people could just grow up.
Yeah.
And then, hey, mom, this is who I'm dating.
Or-
and that's it.
Or
Just
you
like any kind of
date anybody you want.
Well,
No, but I'm
depending
saying-
on the day.
But I'm
That's
saying,
what
like, if you're
saying. Yeah, yeah.
introducing your, like,
Correct.
if you introduce Troy to your mom and dad,
Oh, right.
it's just like that.
Same thing. Like you don't need a conversation ahead of time. The person just
Correct.
comes to
Comes to dinner.
and it's like, oh hey,
This is
you're
who it
here.
is.
I mean, I
Right.
would say no. I don't know. Like my kids so far, my teens have dated, cisgender direction.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I feel like in our house, that is something that probably would happen. Like
Yeah.
one of them will just
And
come
that's
home with that, and we'll just be like, "Hey,
fantastic.
welcome."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
I don't know. I mean, I hope that will be the case, but it won't be like a big conversation or anything.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, it'll just be like, "Oh, cool. This is who
Right.
you like."
Exactly.
Great.
Yeah.
And then like next month, because they're teenagers, oh cool, this is who you like.
Yeah. Right. Next month.
It's
or
a 2-week
next week.
policy.
Next week, yeah.
It's a 2-week policy.
As I always just say, look, all I want is for somebody to be in your life who loves you and respects you.
Yep.
Exactly.
All I'm wanting you to have.
Yes.
Like,
100%.
you know what? Whatever that looks like for you, I'm happy.
And that's how my parents now are.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yay, evolution.
yes.
That's what love does.
So I want to
We're
give a
here.
quick shout out to my brother Johnny.
Hey, Johnny.
Hi, Johnny.
What's up?
So Johnny is my brother who is gay as well.
Okay.
And his favorite color is yellow.
All right.
So we never had to fight over who is pink
I
and
was
who
gonna
is yellow. All of my other brothers fought. No, I'm blue. No, I'm blue. I'm red. No. Me and Johnny were just standing in the back like,
I got mine.
we got our colors. When are we going to start this? We've been waiting to play this game and fight these putties, and y'all sitting there trying to figure it out.
So you had like a family ready. That's like Katie's house with 5 kids.
Yes.
You just have like playmates ready to
We
go.
had, yeah,
Do
we were
it.
ready.
Power Ranger team. Assemble. What do they say?
What do they say?
They don't.
Oh, they
Oh.
don't?
They just say it's Morphin
Who says
time.
assemble?
Oh, it's
Nobody.
Morphin.
It's the Avengers.
Oh, there we go.
Avengers,
somebody says
assemble!
that. Somebody
Yes.
says
I was like, someone says it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Avengers.
Okay. Well, we have
Yeah.
totally
Yes. Go back.
Sorry.
Go back to your research and
Yes.
your notes. What do
Well,
we got?
I also wanted to throw another story. Power
Oh.
Rangers. I'm part of a blended family. My
Okay.
parents are divorced.
Yay, blended family.
Yes, and
too.
they have remarried.
Okay.
I'm gonna take this a little bit of a morbid direction. Sorry, but it's light. I had an uncle who had Down syndrome. And he lived a very long life, and he was very much into Power Rangers as well.
Nice.
Yes, very much into Power Rangers. He had clubs. Like, if you upset him, you were out of the club.
Oh.
If you were on his good graces, you were in the club.
Well.
Quick shout out to Uncle Marco. Love you.
Aw.
But today is actually the anniversary of his funeral.
Today?
Today
Oh.
is the anniversary of his funeral. And I had to just say that it's weird how time
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
So when we had his funeral, all of us nieces and nephews obviously told stories about us and the Power Rangers and him. He loved the Black Ranger. He was our Black Ranger.
Aw.
And I actually took a power coin from one of my collections
Aw.
and I took the Black Ranger power coin and I put it in with his remains
Aw.
in with there. Yeah. So sorry, I just had to take it there. I'm sorry, but
No.
It's a full circle because it happened in both sides of my family.
Really?
Power Rangers was that big that it happened on both sides of my family.
Great.
So it was just fantastic how I could go from one side of my family and then go to the other and still play the same games.
I love that.
With now
That
my
makes
new
me
siblings.
so happy.
You know, so yeah. So, and again, I had one stepsister on my mom and stepdad side of the family, and she was the Yellow Ranger.
Oh, got it.
So then I was a Pink Ranger.
So
and then
you
we
never had to share?
I never had to share, except for with my cousins.
Oh.
Because, you know, like I said, with Uncle Marco, if you upset him, you were out of the club. So when I was out of the club, my cousins were in.
Oh.
And so they would be the Pink Ranger. And I'm like,
Got it.
Dang.
yeah.
Like, I got to get back.
I was like, I got to get back. I got to get back in the club.
I love that. So, like, Power Rangers has, like, lots of emotional ties for you.
A lot.
Like, there's a lot of layers here.
A lot.
Which I feel like so many things that we look back on with nostalgia, it's never just for one reason. There's always like, and I was also thinking while you're talking, like, as a young gay kid, did you feel like the Power Rangers were like kind of part of, like, did that help you with your, you weren't allowed to be your full self, but maybe you felt like you could when you were being the Pink Ranger?
Yeah. Like,
I mean, that's very, very like out there.
no,
thinking.
it's within, kind of.
Yeah.
It was more of the fact that, you know, like when I would play with my siblings on my stepdad's side of the family, and it was with my uncle and everything, you know, he did not see colors being a specific gender.
Yeah.
I said I wanted to be the Pink Ranger. Yeah, he saw a girl played it, but he was like, all right, be the Pink Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was okay. You know, it didn't register to him that it's a girl color.
Right.
Sure.
You know, he was like, okay, if that's who you want to be the
That's
Pink
the
Ranger.
one you
I don't
like?
care.
Yeah.
Then do it. I'll put you down in the club. I'll put you down in the club.
Right.
But yeah, it kind of let me express myself
Yeah.
like on my feminine side.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I have both sides. I have a feminine side. I have a masculine side. One shows more than the other. I know.
Well, I feel like we all do. We all have both.
We all
Yeah,
definitely
we all
do.
have
We all
both.
definitely do. But I can see as like a kid, like,
Yeah.
because you were in costume.
Exactly.
Yeah, you were allowed
You
to.
could be like, oh, but I'm a character right now, which, you know, we're all performers.
I know.
And I think we all do that. Like,
Right.
there's
For sure.
characters that I've been, I got cast as a villain a few years in something, and it was amazing. Because I was
Isn't it
like,
fun?
in real life,
Because Katie is so anti no
this
villain.
is not
Yes.
me.
No.
And I was like, I am like actually doing this, so I'm finding this somewhere.
Yeah,
but I get
yeah.
to, I cannot worry like what it looks like or how I'm perceived because I'm in character.
Exactly.
Right,
And
right,
I feel
right.
like, and I can just have fun with it and go as far as I want because it's a character.
Yeah.
And nobody's
And I-
telling you to stop or not.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So I feel like maybe even as a kid, like that could have been you. Like I can go as far as I want as the Pink Ranger.
Exactly.
Because it's this character who has these superpowers, basically.
Right.
You know, so that's
And
very
I loved the costumes.
Of course.
cool. Also, yeah.
They were all amazing.
Of course.
So good.
And not to skip ahead in years, but Carlos had a official cosplay costume made for him of the Pink Ranger in space, right?
Yes, the Space Ranger.
Which you can see. I said Pink Ranger in space. That's wrong. I don't know what the title is.
Isn't that what it is?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay, all right.
Space.
And you can see his pictures on our social. It's amazing. And shout out to Cindy, who altered it a little bit for him.
Yes. Shout out to Cindy.
And shout out to who was the person who made your.
Okay, so Halu, HALU 007 on Instagram.
Yay.
Made the costume.
All right.
And then Wild Ranger 5 on Instagram is who made my helmet.
Okay,
And
cool.
he's got 2 helmets.
I have 2 helmets.
Yeah.
Made by the same person because his work is amazing.
Oh my gosh. Amazing.
All of my Power Ranger fans, if you want quality helmets, Wild Ranger 5 Instagram.
Check them out.
Check them out.
Yeah, we
Love
always
it.
like to give shout outs.
I love it.
Yeah, the helmets are amazing.
So good.
All right. So
What else you got?
what else do you got for us in those color coded
I
notes?
know.
Well,
They're so pretty.
So,
pretty.
being that the Power Rangers, the first season, were supposed to be, you know, from like the prehistoric era, their first original names were Dino Rangers.
Oh, cute.
Exactly.
Oh, so I think it's cute.
Exactly.
And I made a face.
Exactly. But that's why they changed it to Mighty Morphin, because when they were introduced as the Dino Rangers, a lot of people went,
Danny's like, oh, fun, Dino Rangers.
Or that's cute. We're not going for cute here.
Oh, true. Yeah. You don't want little, it needs to be powerful.
Dino Rangers does remind me of like a cartoon.
Right.
Which I get that this was cartoonish in nature, but they weren't going for Saturday morning cartoon.
Exactly.
crowd.
It was campy, not cartoony. That's different.
Yes.
True.
Right?
Yes. Oh, for sure. It's a major.
Says the person who's like, yay, Dino Rangers cartoons.
Maybe and Carlos are like, ugh.
I know. I didn't like the name. I do love cartoons, but I did not like the name.
So they changed it.
They changed it to Mighty Morphin because it sounded powerful.
It does.
Now, I have a circle back for you girls.
Oh, no. Another correction?
No.
Okay.
No. You guys had
That's for later.
That's for later.
Okay.
That's when I listen back, No. You guys had mentioned Inspector Gadget.
Yes.
And how much you both love Inspector Gadget.
Yes.
Okay. So the person who was trying to figure out, okay, now we need a theme song, because all 80s, 90s shows had amazing theme songs that had to be orchestrated and all that stuff. Well, at that time, Inspector Gadget had a very catchy theme song.
Yes.
And so the person that was in charge of it was like, I want to incorporate go something. Like, I want to incorporate kind of like how Inspector Gadget says go gadget, blah blah blah.
Inspector Gadget.
Yes.
Da.
And then it goes go gadget go.
Yes.
Yeah. So they wanted to incorporate the word go,
that.
and that's where Go Power Rangers
That's awesome.
came into play.
That's a fun one.
And
I like
I
that.
always have liked that theme song.
If no one has heard that theme song, you need to
Stop now, press pause.
and
Find it.
listen to it. It is
really good.
I mean, they did not need to go that hard on that theme song.
But that's what they did back then in the 90s. Everything is a banger.
And you're right. We would have watched it anyway.
Yes.
But thank you for the effort. You
Yeah.
know,
I know.
like, we'll take both. I always say that. This is a little aside, but I always say about Shrek the Musical.
Oh, for sure.
Because the music's so good. I'm like, they didn't need good music.
Nope.
Like, any people will come see this show, and like every song is amazing. Like every
That's
time
exactly-
isn't
yeah,
it?
that's
But
what
it's
it
like
is.
Power Rangers, yeah.
It's just like Power Rangers. So they had an amazing theme song. Not like the costumes and everything didn't already draw you in. Now you have this rockin' theme song.
I love that.
That just ties it all together.
Yeah.
So good.
Yes. So now going back to the history or the facts about Power Rangers, it is still going.
Okay. So it is.
So 93 to now 2024.
Jeez.
With no pause or
no.
Oh wow.
They kept going.
That's amazing.
They literally have not stopped.
I will say that speaks to the fandom too, because you have a fandom that totally is strong for that long.
Mhm. 30 years. 30
Like
plus.
Star Wars.
30 plus years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
That's awesome.
I'm
Really?
30. I'm 34.
Yeah.
30 years.
Oh, look at that. Look at our
I'm going to be
math.
35.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
That's
been going on
amazing.
for that long. And like I said, I think that this one might be their last one, but again, like Cher is going to come back. Yeah. And then after season 6, so 7 going forward, they've always had a new cast come in.
Every season.
Every
they've stuck with
single
That's a lot of
season. Yeah,
work.
every season.
Have you ever auditioned?
No.
He's like, do you remember the backflip incident? Or front flip?
I
sorry.
am not a martial artist. I am not a gymnast. So,
But could they have somebody who does double pirouettes?
I mean,
Right? That could be your superpower.
it could be if the Japanese footage
That's
had
what I'm
somebody who
saying.
did pirouettes, I could have so dominated.
So haven't they run out of Japanese footage by now?
The Japanese are still going.
So they're still going too.
I see. So they're just taking what they're doing. Okay.
Question then.
Yep.
So this American guy who took the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, me always wondering who's stealing from people.
Mm-hmm.
Do they work together with the Japanese company who does the show? Or are they just, I mean, there's got to be some kind of deal worked out. They have their footage.
I'm sure, and I'm pretty sure that that's probably the reason why they're not paying their actors what they should be making.
Still.
They're paying a lot for that.
I'm sure that now with inflation, it's gotten a little better, but it's not something that they could, you know?
I'm just curious because, like, is it a partnership deal with like the Japanese?
Most likely. They've
Company?
been going on for 30 years, so I'm
I
going
would
to
think
Then I won't throw shade to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Except
probably
pay your
is.
workers.
Yeah, the worker thing sucks.
Yeah.
But
Pay your workers, please.
yeah.
Pay your workers.
Just pay your damn workers.
Well, and in the first season alone with marketing capitalism, I hear that word all the
yes,
time here.
capitalism.
Marketing toys, videos, VHS tapes, all that stuff. Not on top of that, they had to do extra behind the scenes things. So the Green Ranger had a martial arts video that he had to shoot,
What?
doing a whole VHS about like little martial arts.
And he didn't get paid for that.
I'm sure he did probably.
Probably no royalties.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you get paid for the time.
For the
For the
time.
time.
Like,
Right.
we'll pay you for the shoot, but
that's it.
They make everything else.
Right.
Yeah.
So press stuff, all that,
Yeah.
nothing. They just
I don't like that.
right. So the creator
Yeah.
of the American version made $1 billion that year.
But yeah,
You would think
I
you
know.
could share some of the wealth.
listen. Is he a white man?
No.
Okay. Well, he's a man, so
I mean,
a man?
his name is Haim Saban.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
have
was gonna
no
say.
idea where he's from.
Yeah.
But he
Yeah.
has an accent, so he ain't white.
Okay.
all right. I was just asking. That just
Yeah.
gives me an extra layer to yell at him about.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If he was white.
If he was.
Right.
But he's
no,
not,
for
but he's
real.
And he's not paying the workers. So come on, dude.
Yeah.
Ugh, capitalism. See, strikes again.
I hate
Yeah.
it.
But yet we are consumers of it. So here we are.
Exactly.
And we're like, we've been fans for 30
I know.
years.
It's just so good.
I know.
It's so good.
I know.
It's hard.
So 30 seasons in,
Yeah.
basically. I think I wrote this down. 30 seasons in, 22 different variations of Power Rangers.
Wow.
So some of them recapped or came back. So like
Okay,
you have
okay.
like different versions of dinosaur ones. You have
Got it.
different versions of wildlife, like lions, and there's Wild Force is another season that I really like, and they had animal based
Oh, that's
Zords.
fun.
And
That's
stuff.
fun.
It's so cute.
I
I love
love
it.
that one.
Well, cute is not the right word. I loved just the suits. They were great.
Okay, well now I gotta like Google this.
I might
now.
have to
I wanna,
watch
like
that one.
see this.
Wild Force was a good one.
Okay.
So Wild Force was a good one. And again, there was another one that was after that called Jungle Fury. So again, with the animal theme. So there were 22 different variations of Power Rangers.
Gotcha.
3 movies.
Oh, wow.
3 movies
Yeah.
and a special that they
like
just
a TV,
came out.
like a
It was a Netflix special.
Netflix. Okay.
Yeah,
I said
came
TV.
out. There's no more TV. No, I'm kidding.
No more.
A Netflix special came out last year where they brought some of the OGs
Oh, fun.
back. Now I'm going to circle back to that
Okay.
one, because there's also a curse that's tied into, at least that they say that there's a curse tied into the Power Rangers, where anyone who's been in it or has been associated with it has something bad has happened to them.
Oh, my God.
Yes. One of the first ones that has happened was Tui Trang, who was the original Yellow Ranger. She died in a car accident in 2001.
Oh, that's
Yes. And the most recent big one that just happened was Jason David Frank, who played the Green Ranger.
No.
Sorry, he committed suicide a couple years ago.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So, and then there's stuff in between of Ranger,
Right.
like other Rangers
Wow.
or tech or anybody who's either been diagnosed with cancer and didn't make it, or, something has happened.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
another Ranger actor also committed suicide. He was on another season.
Goodness.
So they call it the Power Ranger curse
Dang.
because of
And if you're changing
stuff.
casts every season, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of effects.
So, but again, I don't believe in curses. So this is just what they're saying.
The other side of that, you're changing casts every season. A few of them, probably something bad is going
Well,
to
that's
happen.
true. Statistics here.
Like-
And you don't know what's going on
Yeah.
with somebody's
If
life.
it was literally like 7 people the whole time and 3 of them are
Right.
now dead, you'd be like, whoa. But like if we're talking about 50 or 60, you know what I mean? Like over the course of time, not to
Right.
make light of any of it.
No,
It's
no,
all
of course.
terrible, but like like you said, you know, it just adds to the allure of
Exactly.
the brand and like what's going on with it. Wow.
So that being said, now circling back to this new Netflix special,
yeah.
being that they brought the originals back,
Yeah.
they had to make a story about how the Yellow Ranger had perished.
Oh.
And they did mention that Rita was the one who did it. So now they brought in a new actress, being Trini's daughter.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, I like that.
And now she's trying to gain the power of her mother.
Oh.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Yes. And towards the end, they have this whole flashback scene that happened. I cry. I'm about to stop thinking about it now. They had this whole flashback of all these scenes that Tui was in back in the 90s in the original show. They got all that footage and they just did like a little a quick flashback. Oh my God, brought me to tears because we all love Tui.
Yeah.
We all love her. So... yeah, so I'm glad that they incorporated her still in this new special.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, I think it was well done. If you guys haven't seen it, it's called Power Rangers Once and Always.
Okay, but do we need to know anything about Power Rangers to watch it?
No, they kind of recap.
Okay, so maybe that's where we start.
They kind of recap, but you know, like you'll notice like some of the actors did not come back for whatever reasons they had. Like it would have been great to see Amy Jo, but she did not.
She didn't come back.
No, she didn't come back. I know.
She's the one I remember the most.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I also love
she's
Pink.
Susie Q.
I know. I have also loved Pink. I mean, so
Yes.
I mean, you know,
So
I feel that.
Now, although she didn't come back, they did have some of her voices dubbed in.
Oh.
So I guess they took some from like old footage that they might have had and dubbed her voice in. Again, I don't know if she got paid for
I
it,
was gonna say
but but they dubbed her voice.
Yeah.
But it was good to hear. Like I noticed it. Like
Yeah.
it didn't go unnoticed. So I was like,
Thank
all right,
you.
Amy Jo, you're here-ish.
Aw.
You're here-ish.
Yeah.
So I loved it.
I love
I
that.
know.
But yeah, Once and Always is a very good. They tied it back to the OGs, brought it. It was
love
just
that.
great nostalgia.
So on that note, why do you think that Power Rangers left a mark not only in the 90s, but are still leaving a mark like in pop culture today? What do you think the driving force is?
Well,
Or what multiple ones?
of course. Well, I think Alexei, who is Amanda's boyfriend, I have to give him his shout out because that's my cousin.
And
Not
he's-
really my cousin, but he's my cousin.
Also a Puerto Rican prince, right?
Yes.
I was gonna say you do have a lot of cousins, so I would have believed you.
No, well, he's Puerto Rican,
Yeah.
and you know, so as soon as I met him, we clicked, and it was this subject that we clicked on,
Nice.
and so I just call him a cousin. Well, he put it the best way possible.
Okay.
Anyone can be a ranger, and that doesn't mean a Power Ranger. Anyone can be a hero if you step up and you know just stand up for what you truly believe in and don't stay quiet about it. You yourself can be a hero. And I think that's what the Power Rangers, especially being that there's so many seasons now, so many actors, different colors, different backgrounds, everything that they've incorporated in this show. Now I see my representation.
Yeah.
Anyone can see their representation now as a ranger. You yourself can be I'm a ranger finally. I am finally a Power Ranger.
I love that.
You know? So I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's that it started off with this group of teenagers or young adults and has grown into now I see myself. I see me. That could be me on TV. That could be me as a hero.
I love that.
And I think that that's what it is. It's just like anyone can be a hero.
Yeah.
And then once you're a hero, you're always a hero. They say that once a ranger, always a ranger.
Oh.
And it's just
I love that.
that's how it is. So I think that the fandom and they truly believe in that
Yeah.
and that message that has been given out for 30 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think that's why.
Love that.
Yeah.
That too. And I think that's a benefit to the cast, like whatever capitalistic reasons they have for doing
Right.
that. Like as you mentioned, like there's probably someone in there who looks like you or has interests like you or something you identify with somewhere in there.
Exactly.
And then they move on. But like you said, once a ranger, always a ranger. So like that's you too. Like I did this thing in my life and now I'm doing this thing, but I always will have that, you know. I think that that's really powerful.
And I do love the fact that they will bring them back.
Yeah.
You know, there's episodes where they come back. And even if they haven't been in a Power Ranger show years ago, they'll come back and do one episode.
Oh, I love that too.
You know?
How fun.
So like there's different specialty episodes that they'll have within the season, and they'll do things like that. And then you're watching and you're like, oh my God, you're back. And it's,
I love that so much.
it's fantastic.
Awesome.
So
Well, did we get to everything? Do you have more?
I you know what? I probably do. How much time do I have?
I know. Well, we had to go into a part 2 with Troy. So, I mean, we can always do that. We can always do that. I mean, look at how neat and color coded
I
these
know.
notes are. It's
It's
amazing.
yes. I already touched up on the actor pay.
Yeah.
Thank you for not asking us trivia
No, don't you worry.
because we would have failed.
Oh, I did want to mention some countries banned Power Rangers.
Oh.
And why? Violence?
Too violent, or it just did not read well in their country. And so they were like, no. So countries like New Zealand, Canada, and Malaysia.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
But New Zealand and Canada obviously lifted that because now they play it in Canada and they shoot in New Zealand.
Oh, well. They're like, and never mind.
So they were like, wait, you want to shoot here?
Okay.
You know what? We'll play your
that's
show.
fine.
We'll play your show.
It's not that violent.
You're going to show parts of our country.
Yeah.
We'll lift that band.
And capitalism remains even in New Zealand.
Like, we're going to take a stance.
But I think that lasted for like the first season, maybe.
Yeah.
And then they were like, never mind.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So it wasn't long. Yeah, it was.
I know. What else
Look
did you
at
have to tell us?
I know. I'm telling you. You guys.
So much of it lives up here.
You have
too.
no idea how much of a fan I was of your show, that I wanted to be in this. So when you guys literally said, we want you to do this and talk about Power Rangers, I went crazy.
You did.
I went
I love
crazy.
this though.
It makes me so happy.
I love it.
Another circle back real quick.
Okay, yay!
Hey.
McDonald's toys.
Oh, hooray!
Wait a second. Did the Power Ranger toys have wheels?
Yes. They had wheels. And
Googling.
yes,
Look it up.
they had wheels. And we were promised a Megazord that you can turn into the actual Megazord. So they were going to have different pieces. So you
together.
actually had to get different Happy Meals to make sure you got all the collection and then put it together. Never got that.
Yeah, I was like, these don't look like they went together.
We never got that.
Which one? Okay,
So
it says
you have to,
94.
okay, look up. Yes. Okay. So that
Tell
Pink
me which
Ranger one
one.
right there and this group right here.
That's what I was
This was
thinking.
right
Okay.
after the 95 movie. So
yeah,
those
do not
1995.
click together.
No.
No.
You know what? I still ate Happy Meals like as a teen. Obviously, I had my birthday party at McDonald's. I had the Pink Ranger toy of this. That just brought me back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Weird.
Yeah. So these are the Megazords that were in the movie
Okay.
in
Got it.
95. So they're all different. They're not the original Megazords that you're used to. So they're not the Tyrannosaurus Rex or anything like that. So now you have the White Ranger was the Falcon. Yellow Ranger was the bear. The Pink Ranger was the crane. Blue Ranger was a wolf. Black Ranger was the frog. And the Red Ranger was the ape.
Okay.
So that's not the dinosaurs.
That's not the dinosaurs.
Okay.
So you would put your characters inside your Zord and wheel them around.
Of course you would.
So when you mentioned that the toys had wheels, I was like, oh my God, you're right. They all had wheels.
Ew. Why is that McDonald's burning question?
I don't know.
We're gonna have to find out because what has began as a casual observation has now turned into like
I know.
some conspiracy theory rabbit hole at this
Yes.
point.
They
Like,
had wheels.
what the heck?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, we love having like friends on our show.
Yeah.
But friends who are also fans is really fun.
Yeah.
Like it's
Really
super fun.
fun.
And also, by the way, people out there who listen to the show who want to be on the show, you have to have a reason. I've had so many people be like, I want to be on your show. I'm like, cool, what's your Xennial tie-in? And they're like, blank.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, I love you. And I like, we want to hang out with you, but like, you gotta have something that ties you to
Yes.
Xennial life.
Bring us something. You
Well,
know?
I was literally that fan. I was
I know.
like, I love your show. I want to be on it. And you're like, well, give us a
I was
topic.
like,
and we're like,
Oh, then I was like, wait, Power Rangers? Because I heard you and Amanda talking about it.
During Diana rehearsal.
And Alexei was very upset that we did not ask him to be on the show.
I know.
Oh, I didn't know.
Okay, and I'm gonna say this. I'm happy to be on the show. I love you guys. I think he's more of a super fan than I am. I'm
All right,
gonna say
Alexei, he said it. He said it.
I said it. I love you, primo. That's cousin in Spanish. But yes, yeah. So, but
We'll bring him on for something.
We should. Okay, you heard it here.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd love it.
I know.
You know,
he'd be great. He's also a performer.
Yes.
So
yes.
he actually they're coming in town for the Golden Apple.
I know.
Maybe we should talk to him.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. You heard it here.
You heard it
Amanda,
here.
if you didn't hear it, tell him. Because I know she listens all the time.
Yes.
Rewind.
All right.
Awesome.
So, all right. What else? We hit all the things.
Okay, and then just one final thing that I wanted to hit on that I didn't and I should have. Sorry, but a lot of people were a little hurt about racial things that were happening that they thought were happening in the show.
Oh,
It's not. It wasn't intentional.
So what? So tell us.
So Zach, played by Walter Emmanuel Jones,
Okay.
was black.
Okay.
Played a Black Ranger.
Oh, I see.
Tui Trang was Asian.
She played a
Yellow Ranger. Again,
dear.
this was not intentional. It was just how it happened.
But I could see why people would.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just how it was cast. You know, the character itself, Walter was the best for it. He happened to be black. The Yellow Ranger was Audrey Dubois originally.
She quit,
and she quit. So they found Tui.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't know that. They think, oh, well, back then, why they had the Black Ranger be black and the Yellow Ranger be Asian. And it was like, that's just how it was cast. It wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
Like they weren't even thinking about it.
Right.
So it's our own perception getting into our own heads as fans seeing that.
Yeah.
So, but it had nothing to do with it.
I'm glad you cleared that up.
But I wanted to clear that up. Yeah.
Because Danny would have been like, hold on a second.
Should be texting you later. I just noticed something.
Why did you not tell me this?
Why did they do this in the show?
So
it was
thank you.
not intentional.
Not intentional.
And then
I'm
when
glad
they did,
to hear that.
Yeah, and then when they redid the movie, I think it was 2017. Fact check me. It was somewhere in the mid 2000s. They redid the movie or did a new movie, Power Rangers, right?
Okay.
And now they had an Asian playing the Black Ranger, a black man playing the Blue Ranger.
Okay.
Then you had a Hispanic as the Yellow Ranger, Becky G. I
So
think
they
it was Becky
intentionally
G.
made sure they
No.
did not make that
Yeah.
mistake.
Again.
Even though they didn't do it really the first time they wanted to be. Very sure they did not.
Because of the controversy they had.
Well, good for them.
Yeah. Even though they kind of fixed it after those actors left.
Yeah.
They kind of fixed it because then the new actress who played the Yellow Ranger, she was black and the Black Ranger was Asian. So they flipped.
They just flipped it.
They just flipped it.
Flipped it.
Yeah.
But I can see how they would just like deliberately be like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where are we putting this person? How about blue? You
Right.
know,
Yes.
just because of like
But yeah.
to
But
address it. That's amazing.
I know.
Well,
it had nothing to do with it. It's just like our scenarios when we go into an audition. If we fit the role, we play it.
Right.
100%.
You know? I mean, obviously there's some roles that you just can't play, but those are roles you should not be auditioning for.
Correct.
Don't show up.
Right?
It had to be said.
It had
to be said.
Period.
If you
100%.
know that you are not supposed to be there,
Do not
don't
show up.
go.
White people, we're talking to you.
However much you want to play the role, if you know it ain't for you,
Yeah. It ain't.
no.
Don't do it.
Let it be.
Yeah.
I say to myself, if I know I'm not supposed to play a character, I'm not going to show up for the audition, but I'll sing the song in a cabaret or something.
Oh, but he'll definitely show up to audition to be Gloria, just saying.
Gloria.
Look, I may not be the right
Gloria.
gender, but I am Hispanic. So.
There you go.
I mean,
And Gloria Estefan is like my it girl.
I know. We'll do another episode on her.
Yes.
We
I love
should.
her.
I can't wait to
That's
hear
a
it.
Xennial.
I cannot wait to
Okay.
hear it.
Awesome.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you, Carlos.
Yay, Carlos.
If you are a fan on Patreon, we are going to do a little after show. So stick around for that, for the story from Diana and whatever else.
Yes.
And Carlos is actually going to join us for a Dawson's Creek episode
Right.
as well. So if you see season 1, episode 6, or it's just called Baby.
Baby.
Baby. Carlos is also on there. So even if you haven't listened to our Dawson's Creek, but you want to hear more Carlos, that's where to go.
Because who doesn't?
Or come on over to Patreon,
Right.
and hopefully we'll have him back again very soon.
Yes.
Whenever. Thank you guys so much for inviting me,
Yay,
guys.
love you.
I've had so much fun.
And I've learned a lot.
Me too.
Like so much. So thank you.
I knew we would.
Awesome. Well, we will see you next time, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us. And until next time, I wrote down a catchphrase and now I lost it.
Where'd it go?
Oh, may the power protect you.
Yeah.
I don't even know who says that.
Zordon!
As Zordon always says.
May the power protect you.
Yes.
Yay.
And see you guys next time.
Bye.